stocking stamps a hobby. It's due time someone slay this mythical dragon of nameless and faceless disbelief. And to do so, one hardly needs to wield a sword. Step aside and let them fall on their own.
Oh.
Should one describe himself a non-astrologer? Should one describe himself a non-alchemist? Says Harris in his book, A Letter to a Christian Nation. Should one call themselves a non-pharmacist? Well, the answer, no. However, what if this supposed non-pharmacist is spoon-feeding you potion by way of top-selling authorship, billboard and bus-side proselytizing, and
Oh, that's a clever analogy, good sir, but I can think of one of my own. In the Middle Ages, we had apothecaries to treat our diseases, and they would feed you mercury to make you better. Well, as it turns out, that kills you, but they would still do it, because they believed very dogmatically that it would make you better. Now, if I were to go to the Middle Ages, I would probably profess to not be an apothecary, yet if I were to give the people modern medicine, I would be feeding them something that's better than what they're currently getting.
your face anti-religious fervor of every name, shape, and kind. Well, in that case, I think it's more than fitting that you call out his potion for the snake oil that it is, and properly label its peddler in the worldview he peddles for the witch doctor in non-pharmacist clothing that he really is. As the new atheist movement has kicked down the door of neutrality and entered the public ring, it pointedly speaks on matters ranging from origin to destiny, from politics to philosophy. With this in mind, it only makes sense to label and identify it.
I don't see why, really. I mean, I guess if there are, I'll admit, behavior patterns that you can label and identify, but even if you don't, we still have valid points.
Would prefer to propagate their worldview as a nameless, tagless ghost of mere non-belief is nothing new. Existentialists didn't want to be classified. Postmodernists don't like being classified. And is this really a surprise to anyone? Why would they want to be boxed in when it's far easier to stigmatize the belief of others as cowardly Christian snipers?
We can do that without being boxed in, good sir. Or we can do that if you did box us in. I mean, either way.
Not attaching any name or intellectual uniform to what they are doing. They shun categorization of any kind and yet comfortably and audaciously...
We shun categorization of any kind? You're the one who said in the beginning of your video that it doesn't make sense to classify us. Or to categorize us, I'm sorry.
Categorize even God.
Yeah, we do categorize God.
Just look for a universal solvent to dissolve the notion of God.
Yeah, because that's our goal. We have this preconceived idea that God doesn't exist. We totally did not defy everything that society has taught us by means of our own meditations and our own ways of finding it. No, we have this preconceived... We were indoctrinated to believe that God doesn't exist. That's why we will fight tooth and nail, just like any Christian Scientist, to prove our fucking point. You got us there.
But in the end up only dissolving themselves.
Yeah, that I kind of don't get.
And how interesting that a group of people who work so diligently not to be categorized held in September of 2007 a conference in which Sam Harris himself was a speaker. The conference theme was crystal clear atheism. I'll repeat that. Crystal clear atheism. Now, isn't it interesting that Harris and nearly every atheist here on YouTube passionately insist that the skeleton of their mere non-belief has neither flesh nor blood? And yet when you assemble them together, which, by the way, is odd in and of itself, the theme they choose is crystal clear atheism. Puzzling. Or should I say, quite telling. Guys, here's the birthday suit truth for you. Ready? I, Brock Lawley, I don't believe in Voltron. You don't remember Voltron? Here's...
Voltron is really a fucker.
A reminder. There it is, I don't believe in Voltron. However, do you want to know what my lack of belief in Voltron isn't going to motivate me to do? I'm not going to write books called The End of Voltron. Voltron is not great. The Voltron delusion.
Here's the thing, Brock Lawley. Nobody believes in Voltron. If there was a religion of Voltron that was actually popular and took hold, we'd speak out against that, too.
Oh, and I'm not going to slander and blaspheme Voltron on my...
I would.
YouTube channel either.
No, I'm just kidding. Voltron's awesome.
If I were angry, bitter, prideful, fearful of my inherent gut knowledge of Voltron's existence.
No, you're just slandering us, man. Here's the deal. You claim that atheists know that God exists. You're going to have to find some proof for that. Honestly. You can claim everything you want, but why is it so hard to take our word that we seriously believe that God does not exist? I mean, you might not agree with our standpoint on this, but to to say that that's not exactly our standpoint, that's a pretty bold claim. So, move on.
And for some reason I didn't like the ramification of Voltron's existence.
And by the way, it's a bad analogy that you're using with Voltron because you know that Voltron doesn't exist either.
Perhaps then I would put in the effort. You see, my friends, the emperor of atheistic thinking indeed has no clothes, but the worldview, the values, and the godless goals of many atheists, most of which are on the national stage, are wearing look-at-me clown paint, dressed in purple pimp velvet, and waving neon signs.
Atheism has no emperor, and the worldview is dressed like this.
The bang.
Same to you, good sir.